How hard should you train?
Harder than friggin' last time!
RAR, RPE.
So you don't want to start a 3 RIR and then end up at 4 RIR the next week and 5 reps in reserve the week after because you're actually...
How hard should your set be? Should you train to failure?
Not sure. It's somewhere in the middle of the two. You can't train too hard and you can't not train hard enough because you need the hypertrophy, and it's somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? It's somewhere in the middle.
Is training to failure good for everyone? Well, in this video, we'll cover it all. What's up guys, Freddy here from wolfphysique.com, and today we are going to talk about how hard should you actually train, and next to that, how your training intensity will change your training volume. So if you're new, watch this video first. So some of you in the comments told me that the intensity also matters for the amount of volume that you need to do. So we established in the last video what volume would be best for you. But next to that, lots of people in the gym, they train like pussies. And it's actually true. That's why I also said in the video, do not train like a pussy. But training to failure all the time is not the smartest thing to do as well. So that's why I will also explain in the end of the video why training to failure is not the smartest thing. You know how many times I heard in the gym, the gym bro that comes to you and says, hey bro, how many sets are you doing? How much exercise did you do? What are you training today? You know, all the respect, I'll tell what I do, right? But then I ask him, what have you done? What are you training? Well, I'm training chest, triceps. Whoa, but how long are you training chest? Well, I am at my 7th exercise and I have 3 exercises left. And then I ask, how many sets do you do in a week? Well, I don't know, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot because this is what happens all the time. People go into the gym. When I tell them I do 10 sets or 13 sets per body part per week, is that not too little? Well, it's too little if you're training like a pussy. That's what I'm trying to say. Because those people that go to the gym and do like 20 to 30 sets in one workout, guys, one workout for chest. Bro, you are not training hard enough. You're a pussy. You're not training hard enough. It's just a bummer. And I'm not saying you should train to failure with every set, but you gotta train hard enough. Like failing with the squat, that's not the smartest thing to do, right? Because the bar, maybe you're dead then. So that's not the smartest decision. So what do? Well, I actually honestly, I train my freaking ass off. I train my ass off so hard. Honestly guys, every time I get home and I want to film or something, I have this brain fog, bro. Oh my god. At least the fasting is helping me to do my work and research, but next to that, taking stimulants like a monster, like I'm doing right now, the 3rd monster. Oh shit, it's insane. It really helps me with filming though. But this is something that I have all the time. I train my fucking socks off and then I get home, I have this brain fog, bro. Oh my god, bro. If I don't go so hard, I know it's not optimal to do it everything so hard, but I don't know, man. I feel alive when I do it. We hear all the time, well, you should train with an RIR of 3 or 2 or reps in reserve of RP, blah, 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 blah. Some people, they take this shit so seriously. It's not necessary. I gotta say, an RIR of 2 is pretty hard. But I gotta say, most people do not even know how to calculate their reps in reserve. They don't know that. I know for sure if an RIR of 2 or 3. You know wanna know why? Because I train to failure with almost every fucking set. And I put on clips in this video so you can see me training. This is literally how I train every time. This is just how I do it. And this is how I train. This is how every set looks for me. If I can't finish a set, I do partials. It's just what I do. Training doesn't have to be that hard and overcomplicated. Just train hard, but not that hard that your entire workout suffers and you come home with a fucking brain fog. Oh my god. But this is if you're natural. If you're not natural, you can go pretty hard, bro. I gotta say. But let's talk about training to failure, because this is a question I get all the time. There are people who say, train harder. Oh, just let me know in the comments how my imitation is of him. But yeah, and Jeff Nippard, who's like, train with an RAR of this and that, this and that. In this video, I gotta say, do not train to failure all the time. But let's talk about failure for a moment. Train to failure has two major problems. First is training to failure induces much higher metabolic and neuromuscular fatigue than not training to failure. And this is even with the same volume, guys. And I'm not kidding. Training to failure increases recovery time from like 3 sets to failure by about 24 hours compared to the same volume of sub-maximal training. So training to failure is therefore difficult to combine with high frequency training, for example. So frequency is the amount of times you hit a body part in a week. Some people do their full body 5 times a week. I know guys who do that and have awesome results. I even made a video about it, and this is like 1.5 years ago, and the videos did pretty well for my channel though. Maybe it's interesting for you, maybe you can watch it here. But the second thing of training to failure is that training to failure significantly reduces your work capacity. So after you take a set to failure, you won't be able to do as many reps as you could have done otherwise if you left even a single rep in the tank. Plus, when you take a set to failure, your blood pressure is very high. And as if the cost to benefit weren't bad enough. One study even showed that training to failure for several weeks causes IGF-1 and testosterone levels to be suppressed, while cortisol levels increase without any benefits on strength or power development. So you know where I'm going with this, right? So the loss of work capacity limits both the quality and the quantity, like the volume of the rest of your training. So is the relatively high fatigue caused by training to failure really worth it? So a meta-analysis of training to failure versus not training to failure found no statistical, They found no statistical significant differences in strength development between two conditions. Nevertheless, when training volume was not controlled, not training to failure was found to be slightly more effective. So in other words, there was a small effect, but even when volume was controlled by the group training to failure, doing the same number of reps by doing more sets or going through each set with more reps, training to failure still didn't produce more strength. So in other words, if the volume would be the same, training to failure did not give a better result. And this is not me saying you should never train to failure, but I mean, like, if you're doing your bench press and your first set you go all out, you're going to failure, like die hard, bro. And you have to do 3 sets after that, while your work capacity is not that good. Training to failure definitely has its place, but in most cases, to my clients, I do not recommend it all the time. Unless you're very experienced. And this is something you also have to test out yourself, because these studies and they researching them with failure, I gotta say, some people, they just do not train hard enough and they think they're training hard, but they are truly not. Some sets of mine, bro, it's like religious shit. I mean, like, for real. And you're probably thinking, but why should we listen to you? You're so small. You're so small, bro. You're so small. I can maintain this physique with relatively ease, and this is great for me. I like it, and I can focus more on my work here on YouTube because I love this shit. If you ask me, would you rather want to have big gains or more brain gains? I would say I want more brain gains. I have a lot of brain gains. I don't know, recently I am not that into like bulking and cutting that hard. I'm just actually eating and not really tracking. I'm just focusing on doing this shit and helping my clients, because that's, for me, that's the most important thing here. So training to failure definitely has its place. You should not train like a pussy. If you're training like a pussy, you need to do much more sets in a week to get the same result with less sets, while you're training harder when you're doing those less sets. I'd rather do like 10 sets in a week and train my ass off. That's what I do. If you're a beginner and you're just stepping into a gym, bro, take it easy. You will grow and you look at a weight, for real. So I hope you liked the video. Subscribe, and for online coaching, hit the link down below. I love all of you guys. Much love.